Hey, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Kamoy. If you are new to this channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today, I am going to be doing an astrological poll with my girl, Kim Warner. Okay, she does the natal charts that I talk about. So I have her here with me today. I'm going to do the reading with the cards, and she's going to break down astrologically what's going on. Okay, now we're going to be talking about this eclipse energy. So I'm going to introduce Kim so she can just, let you know exactly about herself and where you guys can reach her. And then we're going to jump into the eclipse energy and post some cards. Before I introduce Kim, I know privately we talk all the time behind the scenes. This is where I get a lot of my, my information from what's going on in the planetary movements. And she's a really good mentor to me. I've known her for a really, really long time. And before I even knew that I wanted to do this, she was telling me that this is what I was going to wind up doing. So I'm actually really excited to have her on my first video live with her. And I'm going to let Kim introduce herself, and then we're going to jump into your collective poll about this eclipse and the energy that it's going to bring in for the next 6 months. Okay, say hi, Kim.
Hi, everybody. So, yeah, my name is Kim Warner, and you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well at Interfaith Wealth Builders. I have a community and a nonprofit that works with homeless initiatives. So we get together and we do work all over the U.S. However, I acquired a master's in psychology, and I'm going in for my doctorate here in another week. One of the things for me is to help and assist people to understand themselves better. So I see the sequential needs of psychology, spirituality, astrology, and theology. All right.
Okay.
And so Prophetess Kamoy, I call her, we get together and chop up things concerning that. And I know working with her, we get together and I just kind of go in and the energies that I feel, we begin to get an understanding of it. So it's something about her in the work with the tarot and her teaching, the innate ability for her to teach spiritually, that pulls on my knowledge and wisdom, and we make a great team when it comes to actually teaching.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Thank you, Prophetess Kim. So so for those of you guys that don't know, yes, she does have a degree in psychology, as well as she's very gifted in the spiritual realm, as well as very talented in the astrological field. She has a very innate understanding of not just what the signs and symbols mean, but actually the energetic pattern and how that interacts with you as an individual in your personal day-to-day life. So when we get together, we kind of break down the overall energy in the collective, and then how us as individual and each individual person, based on your chart and based on the collective energy, what you may be experiencing and how you may need to maneuver through that energy. Okay. So I know Prophetess Kim, and I'm going to call you Prophetess Kim because that's what I call her behind the scene. I know Prophetess Kim that we've been talking about a lot of this emotional energy in the atmosphere, because we have Cancer in the sun, right? So we're in Cancer season. We have Cancer also in the new moon coming in tomorrow. And we also have Cancer transiting with this eclipse into the North Node. And then in supporting the South Node is going to be Capricorn. So what I was feeling collectively, like there's a whole bunch of freaking emotional energy in the atmosphere. And I was feeling that you're going to have a lot of people that's going to be going through anxiety attacks. They're going to be going through depression. They're going to be going through maybe even feeling hopeless, right? Maybe even a lot of just mental attacks, right? Mentally and spiritually, that has to deal with I want to say unresolved emotions, especially anything stemming from your fourth house where your family resides. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull some cards. And then if you can just kind of break down once I'm done, because they're not going to be able to hear you once I'm shuffling. If you can break down the energy, right, for Cancer, right, as well as what the transit of the nodes mean, because that's all about the eclipse. Okay, so the eclipse is bringing in the transit of the north and south nodes. Okay, so if you can break down to us, I'm going to pull 2 foundational cards. Okay, we're going to thank our guides. We're going to thank our angels, our ancestors. We're going to thank our higher self, our divine masculine and feminine side. We're going to thank all of the positive energy in the atmosphere that is here to help support, guide, protect, give us the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding, and the courage to move accordingly when it's time to take action. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 cards because I know that I was feeling a lot of emotional energy and maybe even, I want to say, anyone that mental breakdowns, okay, and with this really fast moving intense energy, right? Okay, so we have the World card, which is the number 21 card in the Major Arcana deck, right? Whenever a Major Arcana card pops up, this is all about life-changing events. So we're not talking about seasonal change, okay? Or like going on a diet or fasting for 6 months, right? So this will be equivalent to you changing the way you eat, your lifestyle, changing your lifestyle eating habits versus going on a fast, to detox for 21 days, okay? So when the World card comes in, this is all about you being acknowledged for a job well done. This can be joy. This can be contentment. This can be you getting into a place of gratitude. This can also be a path to enlightenment, right? Now, if you are operating in the lower vibrational end of this World card, this can also be you feeling like things are not complete. So the World card also symbolizes completion. Okay, so it's things coming to a complete end when new beginnings can then come forth, right? If you're operating in the lower vibrational end of this energy, it can be you just feeling like there's no lack of closure in your life for things, right? As well as things you don't feel like you have completed anything. You feel like there's no, whatever you touch, you just feel like nothing gets done. You're not where you want to be. You never seem to get where you want to be, okay? And that's clarified by the 8 of fire energy. Fire energy is all about your intuition, okay? And the number 8 just, energetically represents new beginnings, okay? So when the fire card pops up, is saying pay attention to your intuition, and the 8 of fire is representing that things may be happening at a fast pace, right? You're going to have to get over the delays, okay? Or maybe some of you feel like you can't get over the delays, or things feel like they're just moving, they're just moving at such a rapid pace, right, that you can't keep up, right? So this is where I feel the emotional wave can sweep people away, because shit is going to be moving so fast, right, that if you're not grounded in your intuition and in your inner man and paying attention to, what you're being told to do inwardly, you can get caught up with the emotional wave. So that can be other people's emotion. That can be what you see in politics. That can be, your children. That can be your spouse's drama. That can be everybody else's stuff except for your stuff. Okay, so I'm going to pause here, Prophetess Kim, and then if you can clarify to us, with this eclipse energy, what should we expect from an astrological standpoint of view, as well as what you intuitively hear from Spirit, and then I can go ahead and clarify that message with some more cards.
Okay, so, immediately I began to hear Spirit say, define eclipse so that they can get a breath of fresh air.
Okay.
And when I look at eclipse, because I'm into linguistics, I look at the E and I look at the clip.
Okay.
And then the SE. So there's dashes in there for me. And I learned a long time ago through Spirit that E to me means eternal.
Okay.
So there's an E turn or a return.
Okay.
And that means that the return is bringing us to evaluate things that need to be cut off within ourselves.
Okay.
And that means that the eclipse is going to work internally before it's going to work externally. And that's going to be to those that actually do meditation and they pray, because the eclipse energy, because it's so raw, it will begin to have one thinking or feeling like they are having panic attacks, or they're having waves of heat, and they're stressed because there's a pressure from the energy to push out old energy. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So I hear a lot, and I've seen a lot on YouTube, and I want to say that it's no discredit to anyone that does them, but I feel like people get hyped up on a negative level because of what the impact of this energy could be if you just sit with it and you become one with it and you do not fight. Then you will be more in a receptive position to gain what is to come. Okay. Now, when we look at eclipse, the eclipse, again, it is clipping off things that are not necessary for our elevation.
Okay, so it's cutting them things off. Okay. Okay, so it's cutting things off. Okay.
Yeah, it's cutting things away. Okay. But it's cutting things away with our permission. Okay. All right. And if we give it permission, then it's easier. But if we do not know or acknowledge that there's something coming up that's kind of making me nervous, I'm seeing some things from my past that hurt me, and we keep sitting with that instead of asking Spirit to help us release it, get your tribe, your prayer partners to help you to pray through it, then what happens is it becomes like a blockage. We get caught up in energy, and then the information concerning the eclipse looks like it's negative. It's not negative. It's how we're taught and how we perceive it. So if we are inclined to grow, then we're going to allow the clipping to come. I mean, we know within ourselves what we think about and what's not productive.
I have a question for you, because you said something and then my spirit just keeps saying, okay, maybe ask it to expound on this, because I have been... this week's rotation of videos, especially coming into this eclipse energy, I kept hearing Spirit say, you have to tell people about their dark side, aka their shadow side, because they're not being told the truth. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you can please give us, right, based on your experience, right, as an intuitive, healer, as an intuitive person that can go into the spirit, and as a prophetess, right, and as a person that studies astrology, because I know you put me onto the audio book, I can't remember the name, where they talk about the psychology of astrology. Was it called Jung's book? It's not. Is it? I can't remember. Okay. So if you can explain from that perspective, the spiritual perspective, the life experience perspective, so you can actually get people to understand, the truth about what these phrases are, right? Because you talked about linguistics, right? And how important it is, and how that whole aspect works with this eclipse. I kept getting, and as you speak, right? It's like merging your dark and your light side together. And isn't that kind of like what the eclipse is doing? Like that, and isn't it like giving you an opportunity for you to shine or go in and view the darkness, so light can come forward, as to getting rid of the stuff that you no longer need. And that's another thing. There's things going on, because I told you earlier, my words, like I keep mumbling my words,
So the dark side, it takes time for people to understand that we come in this world and we're in darkness. But when you look at the individual and everything that I know, it's been through my experiences. So I experienced my dark side, and I learned my dark side, and that was from a spiritual perception and also from Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
That's my foundation. So when I began to understand my dark side, Spirit was showing me myself, when I was younger, and how I would manipulate, and I would control things.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just like what they would call, what I identified was a Jezebel spirit, and that is not a lustful spirit. It is a spirit that is cunning and dark, and it creates situations for you to have things that you want the way you want it, and that's just not the way the world is created. So I have some videos on my YouTube channel about that. But anyway, the dark side is, after you go through so much studying, and it takes studying and honesty and responsibility and integrity to say what I'm getting ready to say, because it means that you call yourself out in your own wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually pick yourself apart in what you see wrong about yourself, because at the end of the day, no one is really going to hold you accountable for your wrong, because the world has this kind of thing where they love to congregate with each other and be friends, but friends tell each other what's wrong. And so we have friends that are not doing that, and associates and husbands and wives that are not telling each other that for other reasons that I don't want to get into now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come to a pivotal moment in your life, such as like I did, and I've told Prophetess Kamoy about the dark days and the dark night of the soul, which I experienced. That's when I met with my dark side and my light side. And at intervals, I actually was depleted of things that I would do, and I had to relearn how to live again from those experiences. So the dark side took me into a place where I was self-destructing. And it's a good thing, because now it's going to be the new part of you that you really hadn't known. Now you're going to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And to fast forward, that's an experience that anybody has when they're going through awakenings. And awakenings is not always, at the flicker of your finger. You snap them. It takes time. It's a period. It's ages. Decades. It takes decades, because we're consciously going on and on with relearning our eternal essence and beingness. What is your soul there for? So moving into the light, what we will find is that our dark side and our light side, they need each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a battery. You need
negative and positive balance.
Yes. You do, because there's nothing to learn if you only have light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your dark side polishes you. That is, even when people are struggling with outside enemies, they can't find the inside of them dark in the darkness, because they're not understanding that they are the ones that bring the darkness to them. You mirror to you what you need as a lesson to change you. So your dark side is actually a teacher. And it will teach you what you need about the light. The light will then also go back and teach you what you need to know about the darkness. And this is the part with, even, when I say dark night of the soul, I experienced it in...
Now, is your dark night of the soul where you're introduced to your dark side, aka your shadow side? Yeah. Okay.
You have to. Yeah, that's, to me, for me, that was the first encounter. I had met with Christ, but in order to meet with Christ, he said, you got to forsake all things. And those things have nothing to do with just material. You got to forsake your old, ugly way.
Mm-hmm.
So in that means that you got to meet with the ugly ways in order to identify them. Because if you don't meet with them, then you won't know. A lot of people are not breaking it down that what does controlling mean? What does confusion mean? What does worry really mean? And because we don't have a definition of these words we know a definition, we can go back and start looking things up. But if you're not defining your emotions, then you can't get discipline over it. And discipline is what's necessary when you start saying to yourself, I keep messing my life up and I don't know why I'm in this position. It's not somebody else. It's you and that dark side, not me with the light. So the light, even like in the eclipse, you see?
Because I was going to ask you if you can correlate the dark and the light versus the eclipse with the north and the south node. So
the dark, okay, the eclipse is bringing a cutting of old dark ways.
Okay. So could we say that that's where you're gonna have to get into your feelings so you can get out of your feelings per se? Like you're gonna have to get into your triggers, like
yeah, you will.
Okay.
That's unconscious. When you're triggered and you respond, that's unconscious and it's necessary, but are you conscious enough to say, oh my God, what did I do there, right?
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
The clipping is there to cut that off and say, I could use that energy in a different way, by the way. Because when you have the sun and the moon meeting together and there's darkness for a period of time, that means that they're doing some work together.
Okay.
The sun and the moon.
Oh, you know what? You know what card popped out to me as you said that. The card that popped out to me as you said that is the World card. Now, I'm going to pull it out, see if I can find it in my other deck. And the World card is also about integration, right?
Right.
It's also about that yin and that yang energy, bringing the balance to that energy, bringing the balance between that energy. I'm looking for that card in the deck. But so it's interesting.
Like you were saying, with balancing. So here again, you find that with the eclipse, it's coming together to bring balance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because the sun and the moon represent male and female, like you said, yin and yang.
Okay.
And so they're coming together and they're having a conversation, right?
Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh shit. I think okay. So I just want to interject right here. The sun represents the father. That would be the masculine energy, and the moon represents the mother, the feminine energy. Hence, okay, got it. Okay.
So Cancer, in that you're going to feel emotions because that's a mother energy, and it's the moon. And anything that has to do with your moon, a moon sign, even other than just Cancer, you're going to feel emotions. Now, the thing with emotions is that we get to a place where we feel the energy, but we know how to navigate through it rather than losing our cool with the energy.
Okay.
And that means that you have to do that work.
Okay.
And that's with the feminine energy.
Okay. So, all right. So, what I want to get into in the next half, right? Now that we know that Cancer is the feminine energy, right? And I just want to make sure that I'm saying this right. And Capricorn is also feminine energy, right?
Right.
But Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And I don't remember off the top of my head what type of. I think isn't Saturn masculine energy though?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
so
before you bring that, I gotta go back and say this here.
Okay.
With Cancer being it's emotional energy, it's female energy. What we're experiencing is a need to know how to embrace our emotions healthy. This has to do also with the woman energy or female energy not being embraced. The North Node has a lot to do with that, but it's going to, in Cancer, is bringing up family issues. But before I get there, I want to say that this Cancer energy, it is a familiarization of what emotional challenges women have went through, and a man that is in his feminine aspect. So it's not just about a woman, but it is a goddess aspect for the moon to be there.
Okay,
because
so
the goddess has not been brought up, and in many ways, the goddess in women has been oppressed.
Okay, so
you have this new moon with this female energy. It is dealing with repressed and suppressed energy that has to come up in order for you to get healthy. If you've been sick, it has to come
up.
out.
And this is in both male and female, just based on the energy. I want to say, based on your energetic body within. Okay. Okay. So now, I have a question, okay? Because I like to do my research before I do these videos, so I can better help people to kind of understand the energy that we're going through, right? Okay. So, and I know I check in with you a lot about just what's going on planetary, or I'll even give you a call and say, Prophetess Kim, I feel like this. What are you feeling? And we usually pick up. I want to say 99.9999% of the time we are tapping into the same energy. Maybe it's showing out different ways, right? So, one of the questions that I have, that if you can explain to us, and we can take maybe the last half an hour to really get people to understand, how you are to take this energy with the eclipse, because the eclipse are all about the transit to the nodes. Am I not correct? Am I correct about that? Like that's
they're attached to, because every year and a half or so you're going to see that the north nodes are going to change.
Okay.
Change.
Okay, so we know that this is a whole story, right? And we know that not just collectively, but it's also trickled down to a story individually, and what we would need to pay attention into our lives, right? So we know that Capricorn is doing some shit right now because structures is being broken down. We can look at the governmental system, we can look at the school systems, we can just look at systems collectively as a whole, and it's not just in the U.S. Like, this is all over. Right? So we know that Capricorn is coming in with that Neptune energy. Is it Neptune? No, I'm sorry. Saturn, right? Yeah, because Capricorn isn't Capricorn ruled by Saturn?
Yes.
Okay, so we know that we got Saturn energy in the south node, right? And then we know that we have moon energy, right, in the north node. And so if you can break down the aspects of that, because sometimes I think it's okay to break it down. Maybe, okay, we're in Cancer, and Cancer rules emotions, and that's okay for right now as we're transiting. But this energy of this eclipse, right, is going to be around for the next 6 months. And then you also have the transit is going to be in Cancer and Capricorn for the next year, maybe year and a half, right? So if you can let us know what the story looks like, right, that we can kind of get a grips to know, okay, we need to pay attention to these areas, because we know that Cancer's in the 4th house, number 4, hey, all about self-alchemy, self-mastery, but the 4th house, but we also know that Cancer is ruled by the moon. Now, based on my studies, I think it's also important to pay attention to the planet, because that's where the powers, or the energetic, that's who rules the energy, right? Not so much the sign, the sign is displaying maybe patterns of that energy, but we have to pay also attention to the planet, right? And what that planet rules. So if you could kind of go into really what the big picture is with this transit and of the nodes.
Okay, so the 4th house has a lot to do with family, nurturing, the mothering aspect, which is why I brought up the goddess. So in the north node, it's not just the female, but it is a male and female aspect that is coming into play. I even feel like there's going to be a lot of men that are going to be awakening, because the moon has to do with the matriarch, and the sun has to do with the patriarch. So we have the male and female there.
So that's the balance there. Okay.
Yeah, it's balanced. And so families have been ripped apart and torn apart for decades. And this goes back into some historical circumstances, whereas even America is celebrating a birthday this month. And the North Node is here, so we got a lot of stuff going on.
Wow.
But when we go back and we look at, the 4th of July and all of that, the emancipation, and when you signed the declaration. So it's a lot of stuff going on that people are not aware of. So first of all, I would like to address how the North Node affects us individually.
Okay.
And that means that, like, for me, I am a North Node Cancer.
Okay.
I'm in the 4th house with the North Node. I'm being affected by all of this North Node and South Node. And so my energetic experience has been to move with spirit. And that's just not something that you kind of wake up and say, okay, we're doing this. Because it don't always speak to you. It moves through you. And so energetically, I do see myself moving into change from old traditional ways of doing things at work, in the family, things that I used to do family-wise. I'm not doing it anymore. My mind is changing.
Okay.
It's not that it is totally changed, but it is. Like, I'm in this place where family matters more now. Whereas South Node in Capricorn, because I am a Sun Capricorn, right? I'm a Sun Capricorn. I was very ambitious about business, and I did make sacrifices that I didn't realize.
Okay.
But for myself. And then I think about 2 years ago, I started saying something is wrong because things started changing in me, with me, all around my family dynamics. Things were changing, and it didn't look good.
Okay.
And so I pray and I meditate, but anyway, I stay strong, and I've grown to know that the South Node had did its work in my life.
Okay.
With Capricorn.
Okay.
The ambitious part of me for work declined, and I began to go towards family more.
Wow, okay.
So what that means for me is that I had to get a balance between work and family. And family being that it is necessary for us to change our generation, and I know that I'm a generational changer because I have Pluto and Uranus in my 7th house, which is partnerships, and they call it marriage, but it's partnerships there. So that means that I'm working in a dynamic where I'm sent to help partnerships integrate.
Okay.
So you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I do want to ask a question. Okay, so as you're transiting through this node, right? Because I know I looked up my chart based on the information that you sent me, and I just want to tell you guys it's a lot of information, so you're gonna have to take your time and digest it all. I realized once I went back to my natal chart, I could not find that I had I didn't have Cancer in my 4th house, right? I didn't have Cancer in my 4th house. And as a matter of fact, I didn't have Cancer in my chart at all. Right? So my question to you is, right? So for someone like you and others that have placement within their chart where this energy is there, right? I know that can affect you based, obviously, on the house where it shows up, right? Am I correct? Like, based on where...
yeah.
Okay. But what happens to those of us, right, that don't have that energy at all in our chart? How are we affected by these transits? So how do we deal with the transits?
We're affected, all of us, by the North Node changing, because a lot of us are changing our minds about what we're doing, and it's coming from the energy.
Okay.
So everyone is affected by the North Node because the North Node and the South Node is in position for each season every year and a half. It's for the better good of the earth. So the universe is sending out energy, and the information that they give from the energy is reprogramming us. By the way, DNA, we're changing as we release the old and come into the new. For instance, I said traditions are being shifted because the traditions that don't help your generations to progress, they're no good. If
Okay.
you are an individual, let's say that were born in poverty, then you have families that are consecutively repeating this cycle. It's a tradition, actually.
Okay.
And it's a cycle that needs to be broken.
Okay.
And so if someone is not able to understand that they're in a cycle, then they're going to repeat it. So what happens to the children that are born in that
cycle? Hence the world card, completion. Put in,
Exactly.
Okay. So, all right. So, okay. So, you know what's interesting, Prophetess Kim, and I didn't even look at it like that as I pulled the card. I love when spirit shows up. So, on the left side, just for the north node, I have the world card representing Cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the south side for Capricorn, I have 8 of Fire, right? Mm-hmm. Now 8 of Fire is all about taking action, right? Moving things, getting things done, which is a lot of that Capricorn, the Capricorn energy, right? Taking action and getting things done, building structures, putting things into place, right? And then the north node saying, okay, you're moving towards a new path now. Get in a place of joy, contentment, and gratitude, right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to spend so much time over here. You need to be intuitive, but you don't have to. And then my next question is, okay, so see, because I know I just be going off because I be having so much questions. My next question is, right? So we're all affected by this north node, and obviously, can you explain to us how we're even seeing that trickle down on a bigger level? Like, if you can give us some example of what that looks like for us collectively that don't have that in their chart. How is that showing up collectively so people can kind of understand what the energy looks like in real time? Okay.
Okay, so this is, I just pulled up your chart. And because you have your fortune is in the 4th house, then that means it's going to be amongst family for your north node.
Oh,
because
okay.
the north node is in 4, and then the south is in Capricorn. So your fortune is going to be in family. Going on,
so
I see Pisces is there.
Can I pause that? And I just want to add something there, because one of the things that came to me as you said, my fortune would be in family, for anyone that's going to look up their chart and they have the same position in. Fortune and family doesn't necessarily have to do with biological family. It could be communities, right, Prophetess Kim? Because I know you've been talking a lot about communities and groups of people coming together to create wealth. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay.
So the other thing that you have is Pisces is in here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I looked at it wrong. Yeah, it's Uranus.
And shit!
That,
really?
That's where the changes are.
Oh
so
my gosh!
The swift change.
Oh my gosh!
That's why the Cancer North Node and the Pisces. The Capricorn South Node. It's coming in and doing something swift for you because Uranus is there.
Okay.
And it's not just that your natal sign is there, but Uranus is doing a lot of work right now anyway.
Okay.
So
is that going to intensify the energy? Like,
it does.
Okay. All right.
Because that's where you are being propelled to do something Uranus.
Okay,
change.
and Uranus is all about what you've been placed here to do. Uranus is all about your soul contract. Uranus is all about, okay, you came down here to do this. This is what you wanted to experience. This is what you said. Oh, you want to go that direction? Okay, I'm a break that shit. Yeah. Yes.
It's in family for you.
Oh, okay.
And that is a good clarifier. So. I won't get into it any further because that's your.
We'll do that behind the scenes. Yeah. I said we could do that behind the scenes.
Yeah, we can talk about this another time. But the person's natal in the 4th house is how the Cancer North Node is going to affect them in change and what they've been doing in the past with the Saturn in Capricorn North Node is it's like letting go
Okay.
of what you used to do and embracing new things which you can do, not being afraid of staying in the old tradition, like I was saying, with our families.
Okay.
And the way that we used to do things. And that means, like, with our families, what we used to do is we allowed ourselves to be scattered. We did not work on family dynamics. And yes, communities come into this portion of healing that will be taking place if we embrace it with the Cancer North Node. Healing has been going on for families. It's been in the works for a long time, because there's been a long time suffering with families and separation. And so,
and you even see that in the news, like you see, and I think this is what we need to pay attention to. This is not just happening at a this is happening at a macro and a micro level. So as above, so below. So you can literally pay attention to what's going on in, I want to say, in politics per se, to kind of judge and see where the energy is, and what you need to pay attention to, maybe on a micro level within yourself, as you know. There was something else that I wanted to speak about, and it just slipped my mind, but I'm going to let you continue.
I would say, where you brought up politics, that Saturn is very involved with that. That was creation and the structure of it. So the reason why we're moving out of it is because the universe is saying that we don't need it the way that it was anymore.
Okay.
And because of that, people will begin to wake up and they become conscious of, I don't like that anymore. I don't want to do it like that anymore, And what is that? What Saturn deals and structures. And this is not against the Saturnian energy, but it is the information that these two nodes are giving to each other. And it's saying that, okay, Capricorn, you got to follow your North Node now. Okay. And if Capricorn follows the North Node and the simplicity of it, what happens is that things are going to work out for the world collectively on a greater level of healing, because Capricorn is taking the lead in that area.
Okay. So
Cancer is saying, here I am, and Capricorn is having to walk in. So Capricorn is in the place where it's got to make some decision.
Got it.
And it's not like, okay, Capricorn, you are in a desperate place. You would be in a desperate place if you don't cooperate with what your intuition is telling you. But I want to move away from some of the fear-based kind of information that I've heard. If you partake in a devotion daily and in the evenings, you'll start getting it where anxiety of what you're not doing and is a trigger to tell you that you're not in the right position. Anxiety, fear, and worry, it tells you, it's a message. And that's from a psychological foundation where I know that you're not positioned properly when you're worrying about things. You're living in anxiety and fear. Some of it can be you, but you could be in the wrong house. You could be in the wrong city, honestly.
You see,
and all of that takes with your intuitiveness to tell you.
I'm glad you touched on that. Hence why I moved out of New York. I felt the energy was very heavy, and there was this underlying hum frequency that I just couldn't take anymore. I would feel like very, very heavy and weighed down energetically, emotionally. I would feel drained. Even when I go back for work and stuff, it's kind of like I can't take long periods of time there. Like after a week, I'm ready to go. Any more than a week, what I also wanted to speak about really quickly, and then I just wanted to get in maybe the last 10 minutes. We can do a poll and you can give your input intuitively in which because we're 44 minutes in. I personally experienced already firsthand this unexpected changes coming in with this eclipse energy on Saturday. Uh, behind the scenes, without getting into details, I received some news, right? That I would have to make some changes, and there was some transitioning that I would need to adjust to. Now, boom. Until I feel like it's the right time to actually use the example, full heartedly, I will say this: just looking at the energy, right? And what happened, and how that energy with the eclipse energy is already in full effect, right? The world card definitely knocked at my door on Saturday. Would you not say so?
Yeah.
I would say the world card definitely knocked at my door on Saturday. Okay.
Yes.
And I would say now this Capricorn energy is saying over here with this 8 of fire, right? From the South Node it's time to take action, but you can't go back in the past. You can't go back in the past.
The message of Capricorn is that people don't always acknowledge that it's a slow moving energy. When it's time, it gives you signals that it's time, because I have something better for you. Like a lot of people don't realize that Saturn is really the lord of karma, and it's the lord of harvest. So it has a time that it's setting up for each of us to reap benefits of good things we have given in and sold into good. So this node change, and the fact that we're in it, and all of the planets are retrograde.
Okay.
So may not still be awakened to in the way that they function with one another and according to the universe and its laws.
Okay.
Because Saturn created it regulates laws spiritually. It is the lawmaker, and it builds the structure. Sagittarius is in there too with the lawmaking, but you got judicial system, that is structure of Saturn, and the government, the politicians. All of that comes out of Saturn.
Okay.
And so Sagittarius, the archer, it helps out with that too.
And that's intuitive energy. Yeah. Now I say Sagittarius is also intuitive energy, but there's still that balance there, There's still that balance of feminine there, right? Okay.
Yeah, so with Saturn, it wants us to, I want to say this here, they're working in South and in the North, but Saturn, it wants us to make the changes, because if we make the changes, then the universe is going to promote more healing for the family. So a lot of people would say, well, Saturn is a big player, and it's this and it's that. I feel like Saturn wants us to do it because we wouldn't be presented the cards of making changes with this duality of Cancer and Saturn. The other thing, yes, is that Saturn gets a bad play about what it's doing. It has a way of doing things, and it's consistent. It is a slow-moving planet. That means that the energy, and where a lot of people have felt stuck, is because of the way that the planet moves. So if we get that information out to them, then we can have a better understanding of why we have felt like we were stuck in the past 5 to 10 years.
Now, so, personally, I know I'm a Scorpio, sun, a Gemini moon, and I am a Leo rising, right? So that's hell of a mixture. I'm just going to say. So with that being said, right, one of the things that I've learned in my studies and I've come across with Saturn, and even in my personal chart, right? And thank you again, Prophetess Kim, because I learned based on the chart that Prophetess Kim did for me that I've only probably had one life cycle here, right? And I know, just like intuitively, I know I've spoken to you about that before, and a couple of other friends before. Like, I just knew that I have not been here a long time. Like, I feel like I came for a purpose, and then I'm getting the hell up out of here, right?
Right.
Like, this ain't my thing. Like, I'm, but with that being said, I also feel like in my chart personally, Saturn is the planet that I have to master. Like that's my big shit right there. That's the shit right there that I need to master, right, and to come in alignment with, right. But throughout my studies, I also noticed that Saturn is really the planet that most human beings, that all human beings on this planet needs to master because it governs Earth.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So if you can talk a little bit more about just really quickly how Saturn affects not just its ruling planet, ruling sign Capricorn, right? But how it affects just generally all zodiac signs, like it you know.
Yeah. So like Saturn, I want to say this here that it also governs Aquarius.
Okay.
So Aquarius has Uranus and Saturn that it deals with, especially for the January, probably up until maybe the first. I have to look at it, but I do know that their Saturn, it governs some of the people that are Aquarius as well.
You know what's interesting, Prophetess Kim, because Aquarius energetic pattern is I know, and Capricorn's energetic pattern is I use.
Right. So, I use and so I know.
Mm-hmm.
So I know and I use. So, you know, and then Capricorn is not a user, especially when it becomes esoteric.
Mm-hmm.
Our mindsets change, and we're very loving people. We're mysterious because, you know, we are ambitious about changing and acclimating things, which is why we build structures and we give into that the principles of building consistency, and they can be rigid, but once they are spiritualized, they become spiritualized in the esoterical part. They're dynamic people to work with because they're going to bring the best out in you.
Yeah.
They're going to look at the best in you.
And which makes
sense.
Show
you where the money is.
Yeah, and which makes sense because I said which makes sense because based on my research, they're you know, Capricorn is the sign of the zodiac who knows how to take all of the energy that's given and how to and how to utilize the resource in a corrective manner. But if you're operating on a lower vibrational end of that, it could be in a destructive manner. You know?
Be diabolical, and it's important to know that because the nodes are there.
Okay.
The energy is raw for everyone, but when you say for Saturn, it's a Earth. It works with the Earth, and so Capricorns are Earth signs. So the resourcefulness of a Capricorn is that they do slowly move up a mountain. And they're grazing in a sense because they're looking at everything that other people are not looking at.
Okay.
To give resources. So when we look at the collectiveness, the individual that is ruled in that aspect, this isn't anything to do with your rising or your moon. This is just a Capricorn. What that energy is going to do is it's going to show you resources, and because it's Earth bound, it's going to help you to get the resources to people when it has changed. It's not about itself. Before it changes spiritually, it is self-centered.
Okay.
And it's very controlling. It's very wicked.
Okay.
It can be.
Hence why we got to master it. Okay.
Yeah, you have to master it, but that's why you're looking at, when I brought up the dark side, and you talked about that, but then we went into the dark night of the soul.
Yes.
You meet with your darkness there, and it's a humbling experience because it's horrible. You never really saw yourself in the way that it's magnifying every truth of who and what you've done. The wrong there is there, but it's necessary for you to meet with all of the wrong for you to be humble. And then to see that, because
come back into wholeness.
This energy is very. It will come up against the universe. It has no idea that there. Sometimes you'll say, you might think as a Capricorn, well, I believe in God, but then I'm God. You are not God until you have been spiritually broken and you come into a spiritualization of other part in
It's a
that
part of the
combination colors. But
ascension.
I want to get back to the resourceful part, because when I brought up the 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 Lord of Karma and the harvest, the Lord of Harvest, you see, Capricorn is a earth sign. And so it's going to help to plant and to get the harvest collected. That's in an individual, but it's also collective. It's community. It's going to point you to the resources. Now, that's an earth sign, because in the earth we plant.
Okay. So all right. So if I'm just looking overall, right? Just at what the cards are saying, that really started off the conversation for explain this energy, right? You have this Cancer energy saying you need to pay attention to your family, or whatever, or is it whatever is falling within your fourth house? Is that how you're paying attention to it? Like, how are people supposed to correlate, like, where are they paying attention to Cancer? So where are they looking towards, what, where should they put in, look towards their feelings, right? What area of their feelings should they be looking to? Where are they going to get that information? So for me, I think you said mine's land in my house of finances, right?
Yeah, the house of finances are there, and because it's the fourth house is about nurturing. It is about family. It's about household. It's about changing. And Uranus is there. Then what you have is you're looking at your ability to financially pursue things with family and your tribe and communities, that kind of thing. Because
got it. Okay.
Sometimes your immediate family or blood family is not cooperating with what you seek to do.
Okay. All right. So I know we're coming into an hour here. And I am going to pull some cards just to close out the hour. But if you had any messages from your guys, from Spirit, that you felt people needed to know, especially coming into this eclipse energy, I really just felt like it was going to be very emotional energy for people, especially if you're not dealing with your shit, right? I already felt like people will be walking away from maybe families that they've had for a long time, maybe your community family, maybe relationships that no longer serve you. I feel like there'll be a lot of things ending. I think like some of these things will be ended emotionally, with people not really taking the time to think, but they're just making, taking, the steps and not dealing with their own shit, right? But I also feel like you are going to have people that are on the path of mastery, that are ascending, right? That is trying to come to that place where they do recognize God within themselves, right? That will be doing the work. That is not going to get swept over with the tide, but it's still going to have to pay attention to the emotional waves as they come in. So you don't want to bury your feelings per se, right? You don't want to bury the feelings. It's like you said, when the feelings come in, they're indicators of what you need to pay attention to. So are there any messages or anything intuitively, because we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks, guys, and I think Mercury goes into retrograde in 2 weeks, so we'll come back with a Mercury retrograde special, just breaking down that energy. So is there anything intuitively that you're picking up that you want to share, Prophetess Kim?
Yeah, I do. I do keep seeing a person walking on the beach, and I do feel like it's time of contemplation rather than just making definite decisions.
Okay.
Because it's reflective time. Because there's so much change that's going on that even if you feel like you need to make a change in something, it's a good time to reflect
before you change.
Position you've been in to the position that you'll be in. And that means that, honestly, even with the eclipse and the new moon coming together, everybody should be writing out their intentions tonight.
Oh, wow.
Even right now, of what they feel, because you might feel intuitively and you're not going with it. And Spirit is saying, write it down, because
Make it
the
clear.
words are going to begin to walk you into things. And I feel like, again, I want to just say that I don't want to speak into people's life and say that, you know, we're dealing with some scary kind of emotional energy. The emotional energy or the emotions that we feel, they don't need to be sent at someone in peace. They need to be from us.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat that because I don't know if everybody, you broke up for a second. So you said the emotional energy that we see and feel, we don't need to, and then you broke up.
We don't really need to deal with people directly, especially if you're feeling hostility. If you have a calm, soft, loving way to deal with them, then you're coming with it. But if you're angry, let the anger reduce. Don't let that anger energy drive you into something that could be regretful. That's why walking on the beach is reflective.
You know, it's interesting because I said this in a couple of videos where I don't remember what signs, but there were very clear instructions that if you don't know what to do, do nothing until your emotions subside. So you are not to act emotionally. I mean, you got to get out of your feelings, which means that don't take everything so personally. Like, get out of your feelings to get into your feelings, okay? Right. So you're not taking it so personally, but you're owning and acknowledging that you feel this way, acknowledging that you're hurt, acknowledging that you're angry, acknowledging that you feel depressed. And once you acknowledge that, then at that point, your spirit can guide you, right, to what the root of that is. And then once you start dealing with the root, that's where the healing really starts to take place, and you start to recognize the God within you, and you start to, you know, but you can't blame other people, especially not if you're an adult. Like seriously, okay? You cannot blame people for your choices, and I think it's important. And what I want to stress, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull pull those cards. But what I want to stress to people is, with all of this emotional energy in the atmosphere, it's important for you to honor, to recognize, right, and for you to actually pause, like Prophetess Kim said, for you to pause and acknowledge what you're experiencing before you react. This is not about reacting. This is really being able to reflect and then set your intentions so you can take action, not react, but take action. You know, there's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference. You know. So, any last words that you want to give, Prophetess Kim, before I pull the last 4 cards?
No, I think in the next conversation we can talk about more, but just the fact of the matter that it is a time of reflection, because, you know, we're shifting from one way of living and thinking to a new, and things that didn't matter to us are going to be in our face to say that I do matter. You know, I want to say that, like, on a spiritual level, I see families coming together. I do see some hardships that people have been experiencing with their children healing. So all is not lost, because the energies have been slow, because they're integrating, and they're making a conversation between themselves to help other people. And we feel like, some of us feel like it's whatever has been said or what we thought is never going to happen. But I do see some people gaining momentum, and they're getting wishes fulfilled concerning their lives. Okay. So, yeah, I do.
That kind of aligns. So, really quickly here. So, first of all, overall, we knew that we were dealing with the world card energy, which is all about completion and being able to integrate your feminine and your masculine side. So, we're just talking about energy. If we're dealing with eclipse energy, it's really being able to really take a look at your node. So we talked a lot about your south node and your north node. And your south node is about your future or the right now, if I'm not wrong. Prophetess Kim, and the south node is more about your past. So you should look at your south node to know what you need to work on in your north node, or how it can contribute to you working on the things within your north node. So with that being said, we know that the placement for the north node, the south node was 8 of fire, which is all about intuitive energy, energy moving really fast, delays seeming to come to an halt, and things are progressing. Maybe a lot of things happening at once, right? So to clarify, can I just say I cannot wait until retrograde is over, because I'm telling you, I have been stumbling my words like crazy in all of these videos. Okay.
Passport.
Yes. So the Queen of Air is clarified by the Three of Air. Okay. Air energy. So let me just say that air energy overall represents your spiritual and your mental thinking, right? So you have 4 air cards clarified with final outcome, the Ace of Water. So just by looking at all of this energy, the Queen of Air is saying that we do have to make decisions, okay, collectively, everybody on an individual level. So there's decisions going on. So you can see that at a global level, trickling down all the way, okay, maybe even to an interpersonal level, okay. And we do need to make decisions, okay, and clearing away the things that no longer serve us. That's what the Queen of Air is all about, all right. Being lighthearted and maybe seeing humor in things and not being so rigid and aggressive like you talked about. Okay, so that's what her energy is representing. And then clarifying what she's trying to say is the Three of Air. Now, the Three of Air is all about pain, heartbreak. This is all about grief. This is all about rejection, right? But the Three of Air also signifies whatever sadness that you have, right? It's time for you to heal. Right? It's time for you to forgive yourself and maybe forgive those that you need to forgive. Okay? So the Queen of Air is saying, I can come in with that clear thinking, like I can get you there, right? But understand that is going to come with forgiveness. You're gonna have to let go of the shit that don't serve you. You're gonna have to forgive yourself. You're gonna have to forgive people. Okay? Now, that absolutely makes sense with this Cancerian energy that we're working with, because that's all about your feelings, okay? That's all about you dealing with emotional shit. So that makes sense, okay? Also, clarifying the South Node, right? This 8 of fire energy, which was this Capricorn energy, which is all about taking action and things happening at a fast pace, right? You have the 5 of air, which is, once again, your mental and your spiritual thinking. And you got the 4 of air. Still in your thinking. Still in your head. Okay? Still in your head. With the 5 of air, the 5 of air is saying, pay attention to the choices that you're making. Okay? I know you said earlier, Prophetess Kim, and I've said this in past videos, that you may not want to rush into things. You definitely want to think before you take action. And the wise thing to do is do not take action in your emotions, okay? Right. So the 5 of air is saying, okay, you may have made some unwise choices, but you have to be able to learn from your situations, right? And you also have to question everyone's motives involved, including yours, especially your motives, okay? That's important. There can be a lot of manipulation energy, okay, with this emotional energy. So that's why you want to check not just everyone else's motives, but you also want to check your motives, okay?
Right.
And that 5 of air energy is also clarified by the 4 of air. And look, we got 2, 3, 4. We got the numbers 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that's a sequence. Wow. Okay, that's a sequence. That's order. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the 4 of air is saying it's time for you to take rest. It's time for you to pull back. It's time for you to think before you act, right? This is, I know you talked about meditation earlier, Prophetess Kim. This is saying it's time for you to come into a place of meditation, okay? Because it can provide many, many answers, all right? Now, to clarify all of this energy, boom, you got the Ace of Water saying, as you do this, right? That love, that compassion, that creativity, all that shit of feeling overwhelmed, I am going to bring you to a place of emotional balance. Okay. Right. However, if you are not doing the work, you can be on the lower vibrational end of this Ace of Water energy, aka the Ace of Cups energy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is all about being blocked and repressing your emotions, still not dealing with stuff, right? Now, this is once again where you go into the fear, the anxiety, and the depression type stuff, okay? Because you're not dealing with things, all right? So overall, the energy is saying the world is yours to have. You are going to have to pay attention to your intuition. You are going to have to do things to make sure that your mind is not getting carried away from you, okay? Especially if your feelings are feeling one way, then once you start feeling one way, then you get in your head and you start to create a whole story about shit, right? So it's important for you to I want to say take inventory, not just of your emotions, but based on what we're seeing here on the board, also your thinking, your spiritual and your mental thinking. That's that yin and that yang, that integration of the masculine, right? A man thinks, yes. Men are very logical, very logical, right. Very precise. Right. And the woman, which is this 8 of air, this feminine energy, is all about love, compassion, understanding, creativity, Right. So I think this was a really good hour. I think this, we got a lot of information in here. I'm so excited about doing these videos. Me too. So, overall, this is just to help people on their spiritual walk. Some of the terms may be different. We may type into some taboo things that, like your dark side, aka your shadow side, because we are taught to fear these things. But you can't know who yourself or gain a fuller understanding if you fear everything, even if, because I was church based, and Prophetess Kim will tell you, we have the conversations about this all the time. I don't do church. I don't want to do church. No, that's not my thing. Okay. However, my foundation, right? I do believe that the Bible is a book of codes, and I do believe that you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So I do believe that there's mysteries in there. Okay. And in the mystery, the book of mystery, it said, I have hidden this stuff for you, not from you. Right? And it also said, seek and study to show thyself approved. Not show nobody else approved, but show yourself approved. Which means, spiritual mastery is at hand. You cannot get to where you need to be on a spiritual level if you look towards somebody else to do the work for you. And I'm going to end there because I could go on for hours on that note. But is there anything else you want to say, Prophetess Kim? And I also want you to repeat your information as to where everybody can find you. You guys can also check out my description box below because she does natal charts, and you can find that information of how you can contact her and get a natal chart. I don't know if you do consultations, Prophetess Kim. Just let people know what you do. I don't know if you do natal charts and then the consultations, so you can break it down so you can let everybody know what you do.
Right. I do consultations for more spiritual, guided, intuitively. The charts, I actually have for sale natal charts, and they could inbox me from YouTube or get in touch with you. And then I do astro talk, which tells you your natal information from the time you were born up until where you are right now and into your future. And
is that one of the, I think you sent me that. That's the one like 29 pages because I have 4 of them. It's like a book.
Yeah, I got somebody that said they want to make a book out of it.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I do that, and I have sessions where, of course, I do spiritual advising again. And I am a Bible-based kind of person, so I'm like going to be, or I feel like I have been under fire with other people, but I just believe that there's a lot of things that people have told us not to do that we needed to
because
really
we do
launch
talk about
into.
that. Yep, we do talk about that. We talk about the aspects of astrology being in the Bible, numerology being in the Bible.
It is there.
Yeah, it's all there.
We could get into that as a discussion.
And you know what? And we probably do need to do that.
Break up scriptures. It's going to help people to see that, people have told us to do things the way that they did, but God actually will redirect you. And that's how I fought it, the astrological part. But it's like, if you study psychology, theology, and at the end of the day, you're fighting to study astrology. He said, "I've given you the sun, the moon, and the stars."
Boom,
So
boom.
I
See
want
what
to
I'm talking
know
about?
why we are so everything that other people say when God is telling us to do something. We feel somewhere, and there's a lot of people that are listening.
And I lost Prophetess Kim, so I'm going to call her back in. But while I dial her back in, I want to say, right, it's kind of like you not being able to get to the place, right, where you, it's like the things that intuitively we're supposed to know are hidden from us, right? So you're not supposed to be able to know the hidden parts of yourself because you're taught not to.
Please leave your message.
Oh, I can't get her. So because you're taught not um to study astrology, or you're taught not to study numerology, or you're taught to, even to burn incense outside of the church is evil unless you're burning frankincense and myrrh. So I want to say this. I can't get Prophetess Kim back. Maybe her phone died because we've been on for maybe an hour and 15 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload. I am going to get the information of where you can find Prophetess Kim. I do post her information in the description box. Kim Warner. You can check out her information. You guys can also find an information about how you can get your 10-minute 11/11 reading, messages from your angels and your guides. I'm excited about that. And also, you can check out your weekly horoscopes. I know I just posted the new moon and eclipse videos for each zodiac sign, so you want to go ahead and check that out. Any feedback that you guys have, you can go ahead and you can do that. But I want to give a disclaimer. I'm not responding to anything negative, and I'm not debating with anyone about this own spirituality. I'm on my own path, and I'm going to do this my own way. And I suggest you figure out your own path in your own way, too, because there's infinite paths to get to the source or God within you. All right? Okay, I love you all, my zodiac signs, and I will see you guys next time I hook up with Kim. Okay? Bye, guys.